there's definitely, I feel like this divergence is getting stronger, and I know you tweet about it a lot, but like people are just in it to watch the number go up instead of like the core values of Bitcoin.
Yeah, they just see it as kind of a financial asset and not like this tool for monetary revolution and liberation that yeah.
Yeah. No war money, baby.
Yeah,
No.
they almost see it as part of the fiat paradigm. It's like, hey, this is another item on your balance sheet, on your dollar
Right.
denominated balance sheet, as opposed to a completely new thing, new paradigm that's emerging and going to change, the future trajectory of humanity and how we interact in an economy, right? So
Yeah, and I would say that's almost like the arc of what we have to talk about today. So we'll start with Trump because that seems like the logical starting point, and I think we close out with Snowden and Eric Kaysen. So we'll go from full status to complete anti-status and I guess dystopic perspective on what's really going on. So let's
awesome.
pull up the first clip, Matt.
Hello, Bitcoiners. Thank you very much. Hello. It's good to be with you. It's good to be with you.
Crazy amount of
But I'm
applause
thrilled to
there.
be here in Nashville to become the first American president ever to address a Bitcoin event anywhere in the world. But as well as all of the Bitcoin luminaries and legends here, you have a legends in this room. They really are.
How
Congratulations. Would the
flattering.
legends please stand? Oh, everyone's standing anyway. That's nice. Because we have to talk about crypto. We have to talk about Bitcoin. We have to
Oh,
talk
pause it
about
real
all
quick.
these
This is what he
great
kept doing.
companies.
I was trying to watch the live stream and he kept just lumping in crypto and Bitcoin together. Crypto and Bitcoin, crypto and Bitcoin. I think he even mentions AI in there. And it was like he doesn't even know who he's talking, like why he's there. Once
Yeah.
again, it's just, oh, here's the asset that's worth a lot of money now. Trump, come and talk to it so these people with money can help lobby for you, help campaign for you.
Yeah, and I've watched a few Trump speeches, and Trump's good. He's good at giving a show. He has this bravado about him. He has this persona, and he just like overlays it, um, and panders to whatever group he's talking to.
He's
Right?
also hilarious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's funny. He has like these inflection tones in his voice, and then he adds like little ad lib comments and side jabs in there every once in a while that are just freaking
Yeah.
hilarious. And so you watch him. He's an entertainer. That's what he is. And so he takes his spiel and he just overlays it to whatever group he's talking to, whether he's talking to Christians or Jews or Bitcoiners. It's always like, hey, I'm Trump. I'm here. I'm your guy. I'm the guy who represents you. That those other people, they don't have your interests in mind. It's all about me, and I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it big. I'm gonna do it great, and I'm gonna make America amazing, great again. You know what I mean? It's a whole spiel that he does, and it doesn't. He just takes that spiel and he just overlays it to whatever group he's talking to.
Yeah, and I mean, it's been a few days since I watched the live stream, but in like the very beginning, he's like shouting out Israel. I think he was talking about a new attack on Israel or whatever. And it's like, oh, horrible, horrible. And essentially just showing what side he's on, right? And I feel like, once again, this hat, is like here we are essentially helping fund that whole war over there. Like, forget about sides. It's just like the fiat paradigm helps fund war and death and all this bullshit that no one wants anymore. And here he is promoting it in the beginning. And so, yeah, and then all that applause, and he's coming out, and then he was shouting out Jake Paul in the beginning. He's just shouting out all these names. I'm like, what does any of this have to do with? I mean, like I said, without shouting out Israel like that, it's like against Bitcoin, even, right? Like it's just promoting the war machine.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think when I listen to Trump speak about Bitcoin, I don't think he particularly understands it or is that sophisticated in regards to Bitcoin. And RFK did a good job. We'll cut to a RFK clip here in a second, but he did a good job calling Trump out and actually warning the Bitcoiners. Is like, hey, is Trump just talking a big game here to get your votes? Because he tried to ban self custody last time he was in office.
Did he really?
Well, according to RFK, I don't remember exactly what he's.
He talked a lot of shit about Bitcoin when he was in office. I
Yeah,
remember that because
yeah,
there's the bull run too.
yeah, and he believes in the fiat system. He's a fiat guy. He got wealthy,
Yeah.
with in that whole fiat paradigm, and so he talks about Bitcoin as just being an asset, just being a complement to the dollar versus like an actual, like I said, monetary revolution. And so, RFK, when we go to this clip, but he was just basically calling out Trump as like, hey, be careful. He's just whispering sweet nothings in your ear versus, how much does he actually believe and embody the Bitcoin ethos?
Should we keep watching that clip?
I'm kind of good off Trump.
Yeah, we already done. We had some other notes. I just want to say, so there was some good YouTube comments that I was seeing in that live stream, and I just have two I wrote down here, but like one of them, which like it sounds obvious and simple, but like Trump doesn't even realize he's at an event that's not his fan base. That's
Yeah.
not 100% his
Well,
fan base.
But they are. You heard
Are
the
they?
applause, you
Oh.
heard the cheering,
That's true. Or maybe it was just because it was like such a big name and everyone's like, woohoo, Bitcoin, Trump's here. It's
Maybe.
legitimizing us,
Yeah.
right? Like something like that to the tune of like, woohoo, our Bitcoin's going to be worth more money.
The other thing is, it was very clear he was reading off the teleprompter, right? And then just ad-libbing, his typical Trump persona in here and there.
And then the other comment I saw was basically a good TLDR. So his energy policy will support Bitcoin mining and AI. He'll protect your right to self-custody. He'll create a strategic Bitcoin reserve with the 210,000 Bitcoin confiscated from illicit activities. He will appoint a Bitcoin Presidential Advisory Council, and there will never be a CBDC as long as he's president. So shout out to PNAMI3712 for that comment. It was a good TLDR.
Yeah.
And once again, it's all just pandering, right?
Maybe, again, RFK, like we should go to RFK.
Yeah, let's go to RFK.
And I'm grateful to the 50 or 60 million Bitcoiners like Michael Saylor, who were there before me and helped me understand the nation-saving potential of Bitcoin. Every Bitcoiner I know shares my own yearning for freedom, for my skepticism toward official orthodoxies and pronouncements, and an inclination for critical thinking that I most admire. During COVID, neither President Trump nor President Biden protected our constitutional rights. They both restricted our right to assemble, to worship. They closed our churches, no funeral for grandma, no weddings. They closed our businesses without due process or just compensation in violation of the Fifth Amendment. They ended the Seventh Amendment right to jury trials. They assaulted the Fourth Amendment prohibition against warrantless searches and seizures, and also
He's really laying it out.
Allowed the FBI and the spy agencies to suppress our rights to free speech by working with social media companies to deplatform people who criticize government policies. I hope that President Trump's change of heart in Bitcoin is evidence of a newfound and deep-seated commitment to personal freedoms, to our Constitution, to our Bill of Rights.
We appreciate your optimism, RFK
Jr. If
Jr.
he's elected, I wish he had mentioned Bitcoin in the RNC speech last week. I'm disappointed. He spent a lot of the last week attacking President Bukele of El Salvador, the only country on a Bitcoin standard. President Bukele is the most popular president in El Salvador's history. And with Bitcoin's help, he has turned the country around. Bitcoin helped him grow the economy and reduce crime. The U.S. should want to take a page from President Bukele's playbook and learn some of the lessons that he has to teach us about Bitcoin.
Which is like, wasn't it just a few days before Bitcoin 2024 that Trump was talking shit about Bukele?
Yeah.
In El Salvador?
That's what RFK is referencing. But like this goes back into, a few shows ago where we were talking about Trump, and we're, this is when we were talking about his assassination attempt. And basically the hero worship that was arising from that. And it's like people have forgotten all the civil rights violations that occurred under his watch, right? And RFK is just reminding people like, hey, don't forget, this is the president that locked you down. This is the president that closed the churches. This is the president that pushed the vaccine. This is the president, right, that still to this day brags about all of it. So it's like, does he have a change of heart, or is he there just pandering, right, and just looking for votes, telling, who would have ever thought a politician would tell people what they want to hear in order to, secure their votes, and then, go against what he says once he's in office, right? Not deliver on his promises, right? Like,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Politician not delivering on their promises.
So RFK is just reminding everybody like, hey, like, I know Trump's here and I know he's talking about Bitcoin, but does he really believe in Bitcoin? Does he really embody the philosophical principles that are embedded in being a Bitcoiner? Like, I don't think so, and so.
I like RFK Jr. more and more. I'm sorry. I know we don't want to like simp to politicians, but I honestly think like there would be hope if he won. I really think that. It's probably too late, but I think there could be hope if he won.
Well, I see politicians in this case, like RFK and like Ron Paul and these people as like message carriers, right? And they're figureheads and they're thought leaders, I guess, in that sense, right? Um, because yeah, like they, especially ones that get it, and especially ones that use their platform to educate and to promote values, but not only promote values, but help people understand why those are our values. And so, in that case, yeah, I mean, RFK would be way more, I think, way more hopeful than like Trump, for instance.
Yeah, it's a shame he's not more charismatic.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've heard him at some like pretty deep and intimate, just like events that he's invited to and talking about health, talking about mental health, obviously environmental stuff. He obviously has an idea about Bitcoin, although a lot of people on Twitter have been critical about him just reading the talking points about Bitcoin. But
I mean, Trump did the same thing.
yeah, I mean, but I still think RFK Jr. has a more nuanced approach to, I mean, everything.
Yeah, and there's more depth. I mean, you could tell that he understands Bitcoin at some type of intellectual and philosophical level, just based off of his speech, right? Like,
Yeah.
and Trump, it just felt like everything was surface level. It was
Yeah.
like he's mixing in crypto with Bitcoin, and he's like, basically at the end of Trump's speech, he just like, all right, you Bitcoin people and you crypto people, hope you
Yeah.
guys have a good
Go
time.
have fun, kids. Yeah.
Just kind of like dismissing everyone. And it's like, yeah, that's where Trump's at,